Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Dare County Board of Elections absentee review ballot meeting. Today is Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024, and I'd like to call the meeting to order. And the first order of business is our Pledge of Allegiance, if you'll join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. First order of business today is approval of the minutes of last week's absentee ballot review meeting that was October 15th on Tuesday. I trust everyone's had a chance to look at the minutes that were distributed. I'd like a motion to approve the minutes, please.
I make a motion that we approve the October 15th minutes.
Is there a second? Second. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from October 15th. Is there any discussion or any additions, corrections to the minutes? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right, the minutes for October 15th are approved. The next item on our business is chairman's remarks, and this is an unusual moment, but I really don't have anything to say. Let this please be noted in the record. And we'll move on to the main event.
Chairman's remarks silent.
Right. And the next item is our absentee ballot review and scanning of the ballots. And I would like to just reiterate one thing about these meetings, that these are public meetings, but not for public engagement in the meetings, and we have no time for public comments when we review absentee ballots. So if everyone will bear with us, and we'll try to observe good microphone discipline so everyone can hear what we're saying. And I'll turn the meeting over to our director, Kelly McPherson.
So we do have a lot of ballots to go over today in various categories. So we'll start with the regular absentee ballots received by mail or in person. We have a mix of civilian and military in this group, 206 of them. So we'll let you review those first in groups, and then we'll move on to other categories.
Members of the board when they heard the numbers. Thank you.
The military too. Mail-in or in-person absentee, civilian or military. You know the military mail-in like because they're somewhere. But some of these are, they were walked in. Oops.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes.
That's the first one I have, that's. This one doesn't have a stamp, but we all received it, so.
Double check with Kelly about that.
Okay.
They were have more use this. Shit. Yes. Yes.
It doesn't matter. I mean, the date stamp is, it's received timely because they have till election day. Right, there's a date in the system that we can pull up and retrieve. I mean, that's just office work. Um, I don't know where they are. No. Nope, that's right. Yeah, I just needed this. She took everything else. I think, she's gonna count how many are approved, and then we can talk about those other two or three. I'm just gonna go get some guidance on this.
Yeah.
want to make a motion to approve the 204? Well, you gotta do those, you gotta so maybe we do it in pieces. I'm waiting on guidance from the state on this one. It's my interpretation that they have to make their mark, in which case this would not be approved, but I just wanted to double check.
What did they do on?
So-
Is that the one with the
This
half circle?
ballot was properly witnessed, and the assistant filled out the portion on the bottom, but the assistant wrote in disabled cannot sign.
I saw that.
I saw that
thought
too, but I didn't
it
know.
was-
Yeah, so it's my understanding that they have to make a mark, and there was one in there that had a little,
Circle.
Crest under a circle or something.
which was an indication of a mark. So, and that's what what we've always advised people who say, we say, even if they can make an X or a mark. So, I would say more than likely this one would be disapproved, but if you want to hold off, I think we've got time to address other things.
Yeah.
But that one, the expiration date is outside of the year. And the birth date doesn't meet the over 65.
Right,
So, that one you could go ahead and move forward with if you wanted to.
sure.
But 204 is what you're approving if you
Okay.
want to get started.
Okay. All right. Seeing that Director McPherson has just reviewed the 204 ballots, absentee ballots that you just reviewed, I'd like a motion to approve those ballots.
I make a motion to approve the 204 ballots that we just reviewed.
All right, it's been moved. Is there a second? Second, it's been moved and seconded to approve the 204 ballots that we just reviewed. Are there any questions or any other things anyone wants to add? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. All right, the ballots are approved. Next item is a absentee ballot that was submitted where the voter, their license, they were using a driver's license, the license had expired and it was over a year old. The person also was not of the age where we could count it even if it had been less than a year, as the state statute allows. So I'd like to hear a motion to disapprove that ballot. And one question I have on that, can we cure that?
So I can make contact with the voter, yes. So
Okay.
There's a possibility I can make contact with the voter. So this one will go, right now it's in approved, like pending. So this one will go into pending cure, and we'll make attempts to make contact with the voter and see if they have another option for photo ID that they can bring in, or possibly a photo ID exemption form.
Mhm.
So yes, potentially yes, we'll make contacts.
Okay, so the motion is not necessarily to disapprove, but to have a pending cure process on that absentee ballot. Is that correct?
Right, so,
But we're disapproving the ballot, but it'll go into the cure.
well, for that one, you could kind of do a motion similar to the one that you did with the ballot that needed duplication, where you can just let staff, so you can make a motion to not approve it
As it is?
as it is.
Yeah.
And to allow staff time to cure it,
Yeah. Okay, so that would be the motion.
or allow the voter time to cure it.
So do we have such motion?
I move that the board disapprove this ballot as presented, return to staff for an effort to cure the ballot.
All right, is there a second? All right, so it's been moved to disapprove the ballot as presented and to allow staff time to cure or attempt to cure the ballot and contact the voter to bring in acceptable photo ID. Is there any other discussion? Okay, those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. All right, that ballot is disapproved until pending cure.
Vote early, right, so we'll offer that. Yeah, right, so we'll offer that.
All right.
Okay, up next, we have 23 ballots that were duplicated by our bipartisan team. These are overseas and military, and one civilian that the board requested be duplicated due to a mistake on the ballot that the voter made, and the machine was not reading it as the voter intended. So that one is a civilian, but it's going to be included in this duplication group.
So that was 23 total.
Yes, sir, 23 total,
Civilian, military, and.
civilian, military, and overseas.
And you're waiting for the state to tell you on that other one.
Right, so we'll come back to that because we've got other groups as well. So while you're reviewing those, we will begin the tabulation, the scanning. You want to put them in the box?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Public count is 3:45. If anyone wants to come take a look prior to scanning. Come again, scanning. Everybody got the number?
Let me crack it, just in case they need us. You gotta use your. That, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'll come to
So I'm going to pull one of the 23 and make it 22. There is a mistake on one of them, so we will correct it and bring this back to the board next week. KDH?
I haven't been there today. I heard it's a mess.
Busy.
Yeah.
They're busy.
It's the layout of the precinct.
I heard the parking was getting a little tight.
Yeah, the precinct's tight. Let's face it, we don't room KDH. Yeah, but it's nobody's fault. This, this is free flowing, okay, bigger. KDH, they're like this.
One of them posting voters in it at time.
Yeah, because there's no room to move, and no matter where you put the voters, you have a chance of seeing the voters. So Sandy, Sandy controls it as best she can. If they observe it, they get up and walk around, but not doing any voting. Those places can stand up there. It's just really tiny. So I just wondered if they were having the same crowd. You know, in terms of the number of people turning out. Usually the first day there's, the first 2 days were almost equal.
Are you done?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have 12 there?
And it all. But this precinct, the first day, was 100 votes, rival KDH and KDH. And it's only because of the way.
Okay, so that makes 22. So if you want to make a motion, then we'll feed those in.
And that's KDH is just basically.
Military's overseas, and then the one civilian that was duplicated per board request. Yes, I don't see why not.
I'd like to have a motion to approve the 22 ballots that are military overseas, and then one that we had to redo, I think.
Yeah.
We had to duplicate because of the way the original ballot was marked. So is there a motion?
I move that the board accept the 22 ballots that have been presented overseas military, as well as the one that needed correction to be rescanned.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the 22 ballots that are overseas ballots, military ballots, and one that needed to be duplicated because of the deficiencies in the original mark on the ballot. Is there any other discussion or questions? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. All right, those 22 ballots are approved.
Okay. So I did receive guidance from the state on the absentee ballot container that was marked disabled cannot sign. So there's two numbered memos that we can take guidance from. Numbered memo 2021-03, page 13, that states, if a voter is physically unable to sign or make a mark on the, wait a minute, sorry. That's the exemption form. Let's move on. Let's move, that was, she sent me, that was for the exemption form, but this is for the ballot container. So numbered memo 2022-11, page 3. The assistant can help with signing the envelope if, due to a disability, the voter is unable to sign or make their mark. So I think that clears it up. And the assistant does have all of the information filled out correctly here. And again, that was numbered memo 2022-11, page 3, that says that an assistant can sign the ballot container in the event that the voter is unable to do so. So I feel you guys could approve this if you're. It says the assistant must complete the voter assistant certification, and they did that. Yeah.
It wasn't a signature. I mean, it was pretty, there was a communication in the signature block. So there is that technicality.
Well, the assistant did sign down here.
Right.
I don't think it's accurate for the assistant to sign their name here because they are not the voter. And maybe that's why she added this. It says, so in the first numbered memo, it says if a voter is physically unable to sign or make their mark on the photo exemption form due to disability, any person of the voter's choice can write in the signature line, disabled cannot sign. See numbered memo 2022-11. So if it applies to the exemption form, I would think that that would be suffice for this as well, especially since she did sign. So I'll let the board make that decision on
All
this
right, so
ballot.
that, like a motion to approve the ballot that we needed guidance on from the state per the disabled person being unable, the voter being unable to sign on their own or make a mark, and having the witness sign in their stead. Is there a motion to approve that ballot?
So moved. So moved that we
Okay.
approve the ballot as directed by the state.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the ballot that was signed by the assistant, who also was witness to the disabled person's vote. Is there any other discussion or questions? All right, all those in favor of approving that ballot, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right, the ballot is approved.
Okay, so for anyone keeping count, that makes.
Mike,
Thank you. So for anyone keeping count, that makes 205 civilian military absentee ballots that were approved, either in mail or in person, and then 22 duplicated is where we're at so far. Go back up. Okay. So the next group is ballots for review that did not have photo ID. They contained a photo ID exemption form. And let me double check my math. I have 14 of those for your review. I just want to let you know that there is one that the witness did not print their name, but they did sign it. And all of the staff agreed that they could clearly determine what the name of the witness was based on the signature. And I attached the numbered memo sheet that explains that that's allowed, so you could read that there. So 14, yes. Yes. And I think the whole board should review those, so we'll switch.
Those are good. If you scan
Put
them.
it here.
Mhm.
And this guy, this was laying in the stack before that came up. I don't know where that came from.
He included it inside
Oh, okay.
and
Overachiever.
outside. Yeah.
All right, cool. I didn't see
Yeah.
that.
Will you do this one as well? That was the container
Yeah,
for
the single.
duplicated. Mhm.
Are those ready? Do you all have any that you want me to look at? I'm going to pass them on down. You all, yeah, let me go ahead and start looking at them because John, have you looked at these? I mean, I'm sorry, these. God.
No, I haven't.
No,
Okay.
they haven't.
All right, so I'm going to
Do you,
pass
do
them
you want
down.
to see these?
I think she wanted us all to see all of them.
Huh?
Thank you.
Right, Kelly?
I gotta be careful here because I've got kind of a mixed bag.
I missed them.
Okay.
That's the first one that I looked at from their stack. They passed it to me.
Oh,
So I'm passing that to you guys.
okay.
Will you keep our rubber band?
Uh-huh. We'll put them around the house.
Okay, here's another one. I'm gonna just keep passing these to you, John.
fast.
They were not.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's see.
I'm gonna just leave this out. Okay.
Made their way on.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll see that.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Okay, we're getting all this.
Jam. So this one says the ballot wasn't counted, so she can put it back through. I'm gonna be just being on, telling them. Sure. So we have a ballot that the machine is saying that there's an overvote for, and, it looks like maybe they just made a mistake, but I'll let you guys take a look. It's the last
Oh, yeah.
contact.
And they tried to cross out.
Oh, yeah.
You can see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Randy, you gotta duplicate that too.
At the bottom.
Because the machine won't take it.
The machine will take
Oh, it will?
it, but it will take it as
As
an
a vote.
overvote
Yeah.
and cancel it out. So it's the board's decision.
I feel we can read the intent.
I do too.
I mean, that's the spirit of the law in North Carolina.
I think.
So do we need to reduplicate that ballot
So you have to move to disapprove it.
and to reduplicate it?
However, yeah, I forget how you did it last time, but.
Yeah, okay. All right, so,
And if you guys wouldn't mind while we're doing that, if we could find an envelope that it went in. Yeah, can you flip that over? Yes, get that one out.
Oh, you want it to get there.
Okay. Minus one.
all right, so,
You want a motion on this?
yeah, we just reviewed a ballot that had an overvote on one item. And the person made a mistake and they colored it in and then they put an X on top of what they did not want recorded as their vote and then filled in the other bubble. I'd like a motion to approve the intent of that ballot and to have that ballot reduplicated again so that the vote can be counted. It's very clear to all of us as to what the intention of the voter was. Is there a motion?
Say it.
You don't have to say everything.
So moved.
Well, I move that the board, I move that the board reject this ballot
As is. Yeah.
as is, have it duplicated by staff since the intent of the voter is clear, and bring it back for an appropriate count.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to disapprove the ballot as it is. But because we can see the intent of the voter, to have staff duplicate that ballot so that it can be scanned into the tabulator. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed, nay. All right, that ballot action is approved as voted upon. I guess that's one way of putting it. Did you find the envelope for that?
I'm looking right now.
Okay.
Can someone pass me the ballots?
Meanwhile, in Stampville.
Just like last time, yes. Not supposed to take temporary. Provisionals, yes, temporaries, no.
No, I took the.
Kelly, I have two that won't go in. Come breathe on them. I knew it. I said, you've got to breathe over here.
Post that. Try to slide that.
Randy, what was the public count? When we first opened up, it was 3.
Doesn't count.
So then I probably.
No.
The yellow letters, your letters,
Have you seen
Um,
they take them off, they've all. got the
Yeah, they
letters.
are. You have them.
If you want to go down, sign it, well, we got out the door. You know, I like to gather my things. I will take that. So when we do these, this stuff needs to stay with the container.
Inside it.
No, and it should be stapled. No, I would staple it.
Okay.
Once we get, they haven't approved it yet, yeah. But this is all we have left. Get through that. And then we gotta run and add those, remove these, print new poll books, they sign them, then we're done. So, yes, to about 2.5 hours, and that's what we're probably gonna run, because right after 5. So between 20, we're like.
No, there's more. There's more. But we do want to do that and we'll move on. There's secures and some disapprovals. Sorry, you guys, can I make a motion to approve those? 14, if you approve all of them, it's 14. Okay.
There were no questions about it.
No, I mean,
I mean, there were questions, but nothing. That's long.
okay, I'd like to have a motion to approve the 14 ballots that included the photo ID exception. Is there a motion to approve those ballots?
I make a motion that we approve the 14 with the photo ID exception.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the 14 ballots accompanied by the photo ID exception form. Are there any questions or any other comments? All right, all those in favor of approving the ballots, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. All right, those 14 ballots are approved.
Okay, so the next item is that we had 3 ballots that were returned without signature, and we were able to cure all 3 of those in the time frame from being received and having the meeting. So staff's recommendation is that you approve them. I have attached the deficiency notification that allows them to cure it with their signature. And so that is attached as well. There's 3 of them.
This is probably something I can stay out of so I can keep doing what I love to do. How we doing out there? You guys okay?
Bill, wait.
Sorry we don't have an espresso machine or something. Kind of election experience.
This needs.
It's been cured.
That's the cure letter. All right. So. Yes.
He wants more. He tried to slip it in there, so he didn't realize that was growing.
You can do it.
Yeah, I'll give it.
He's got it right here.
So I started right next, but that actually need to be. I think, yeah. That might like it there. Outdated quick.
Monday, we have to do this also. Before election day. So, Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
So are you going to make a motion on those?
The three,
Yes, sir.
yes. We're having preoccupied, let's have so much fun.
Okay.
The-
Mr. Chairman?
What was the story on those ballots? They were the ones that were cured?
Yeah,
Between the time they were received?
3.
Okay.
3 missing voter signature that have been cured.
That have been cured, yeah. Okay. Randy, go ahead.
I move that the board accept 3 ballots that have been cured with appropriate signature.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the ballots that came in without signature and
Were cured by staff and have now been signed.
all those, are there any other comments or anything?
Yeah,
Okay.
there.
All right, all those in favor of approving those 3 ballots, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. All right, the ballots are approved.
Okay, so the last item we have are 3 ballots that we received where the witness information was not complete. One of them, there's a note here that we spoiled and reissued the ballot. And I believe we actually did the same thing. Yeah, we spoiled and reissued all 3 of these. So they were sent a new ballot packet, but they're missing the witness information on 2 of them. They're missing the witness information completely. And on one of them, the witness did not sign.
And they've been notified as to.
Yes, they have letters sent to them in the mail and then also a letter included in their packet.
What is this?
They are spoiled, so you're just disapproving them. There's no cure process. It's a spoil and reissue. So you're making a motion to disapprove these 3 ballots.
See your own name on the letter. Wait. The cure has been issued to the voter.
No cure. It's just a ballot packet was reissued.
Reissued a whole pack.
So they get a whole new packet. That's the only option. And their letter lets them know that they can also go and vote in person, and it gives them the early voting times and the election day time. So their option also is to vote in person in the event they don't want to do that. So do you staple them individually to each? Thank you.
They have to take that ballot that's mailed to them, right?
They don't have to. It's strongly encouraged.
How does it get spoiled?
When we go in, we actually mark it, spoiled in the system. And so if you go to scan that ballot, it will not take it. We physically,
This is the new pack.
no, the new packet, we spoil that packet and then we reissue a new packet with the whole new number. It's got a whole new identificator.
So if, now, in that packet is a ballot.
Yes,
Okay. So if they elect to go to, say, day of voting or early voting, then what happens to that packet? Specifically, the ballot that is in that packet.
so as soon as they vote, the system makes notation that they voted, and so that packet's not any good.
So they don't have to present the ballot that came in that packet.
No, but the ballot has something written on it that ties them to that voter. So if that ballot ended up in a tabulator, and that's why we reconcile at 11 o'clock, at 2 o'clock, at 5 o'clock, and at 7:30. On election day, we reconcile 10, 2, 4, and 7:30. So at any time, there's more ballots in the machine than we have ATVs, and we can't account for cancels, then there's an issue. We may not find it that day right away, but then we're doing reconciliation afterwards, and that will be found that ballot ended up in the tabulator. It's never
I'm
happened.
thinking more in the case of if they were to vote the ballot, send it in, but also go.
The system, once you vote once, it's documented, and then I can't scan that packet. It automatically spoils the packet. Once you vote it once, and then you mail in, if you were to mail in that absentee ballot, when I go to scan it, there's a barcode. And when I go to scan it, it will not go through. It will say voter has already voted, invalid packet. Yeah, it just won't do it. You can't vote twice. That's not to say you couldn't physically put a ballot in the tabulator, but again, they're all documented. So if we were to spread everything out and match every ATV with every ballot, that one's going to be out there without a paper trail. So we'll know that that's the ballot that shouldn't be there. So there's always a way, whether it's on the front or the back end. Thank you. Did you make a motion
No.
to disapprove those?
All right, so
They can go in.
I'd like to have a motion that we accept the spoiling of the 3 ballots that you just reviewed. Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? The team is getting worn down up here, I can tell. All the signs are there. All right, so it's been moved to disapprove or not accept the ballots that were spoiled. Is there any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Okay, those ballots are not approved.
Who was the second on that?
Rick?
So I have to go and take and add the photo extensions that you approved
Yeah.
and take the others off so I can get an accurate poll book.
Yep.
If you guys would just sit
Yep.
tight,
Sure.
but I will close this.
Okay.
So final public count is 588.
Okay.
Stay down on your head.
So Rebecca,
This used to be my end.
I
And then they sent me far left. I never understood.
know.
On the one where we had the 3 timely cured ballots, that was motion. Did you second or did Chris? I didn't hear quite right. I heard a voice, but it wasn't.
That wasn't the last.
Not the last one, the one before that.
I don't think I did it.
I'll blame you.
Yeah.
Okay.
so back here, you just kind of like read places and stuff on this whole.
Would you second?
I just think, keep it consistent.
Yeah, John would do it a lot easier.
Oh, no.
When I first
I just don't want to inject any confusion.
Okay,
when I first came to the board, it was down there.
Yep.
Ken,
do we have the 14 that have the exemption forms?
I think I gave those to you.
I need
You wanna have-
those specifically, so if you want to run them to me.
These are plain old absentee ballots here.
yeah, I mean, it was just one or the other. Yeah.
I forget, I made a motion, I made a motion or a second, and then Ken walked up to me and goes, it's simpler if I just sit back and relax. I said, hey, why don't they?
But he's not here, so you gotta step up.
Oh, no. Tracy and, they're doing a fine job, so
We're done at 10
I was good to go.
History was written down there. So.
I just like saying that.
They're in here. Yes.
But
So let's set the
some jurisdictions, they say if some brilliant strategist said, to protect your vote, to protect your ballot, right? Ask for mailing, ask for an absentee ballot. And then if you want to, if you decide to go to early vote or day out, take your ballot with you, have it spoiled, and then go ahead and cast your vote. So with that, I thought, well, that's the process. And- But obviously not.
It's an option, I think.
I guess it is.
Or if you live in a district where the chief and candidate for the person, vote this, you know how to take care of it.
I don't think that would work around here.
Yes. Yep.
Just too many numbers to keep everybody honest.
Since we have a moment here, there's something that Kelly and I were talking about, and it has to do with how we do the tallies when we do the sample audit. And we'll be doing the presidential race, which will be one of them. There'll be a huge number to count. And you all understand how that works. And Rick, you haven't seen it yet, have you? Tracy, have you seen it? Where we have a caller
No.
at a table down here, and we have a caller observer. That's a bipartisan team. And then we have 2 talliers over at another table. There's a microphone in front of them. There's a microphone in front of the observer over here. And what happens is they pull, the staff batches the ballots for each precinct so that they can be handled. It's not too big of a stack. And they put them next to the person who's the caller. And the caller calls out, the observer watches, and the talliers will respond with, I think they say tally. And each one of them is sitting there with a piece of paper and a pencil, and they're just doing 5 and a 4 and a slash mark, the old way, which is fine. I don't have any criticism of it. But if we have a mistake and we get too far into it, then we have to go back and repeat the whole thing again. So we were talking about, is there an increment that we could do where we reconcile it and then we take the next section completely? So that's going to be a question, and I'm going to get Kelly to reiterate what I've just said. I've just given you the general lay of the land, but we want to make it so that we don't have to hand count, go all the way back to the beginning and have thousands that we have to recount to be able to have it reconcile with the tabulator count. So, that's a coming question and a way we can help her and help staff and all of us so that we're not here.
What is this meeting called?
This is,
Count, it's an audit.
An audit
yeah,
or
it's a sample ballot audit.
a sample ballot? audit.
Yeah,
Okay.
and let me get the thing of the date so
And
that
and it's only,
what do I do with it?
we only pull one contest or?
Well, let's say we have a municipal election,
Okay,
okay? And what the state board does is they tell us the race that they want us to hand
Okay.
count,
okay,
and they pull it at random.
okay.
And
okay.
so it's one
So
race.
We don't know.
We don't
until-
know what it's going to
okay.
be, but every time there's a presidential election,
It's
that
gonna be
becomes
that
one of them.
Okay.
And then the other one is at random.
Okay.
Okay, so we have to do 2 of them. The sample ballot, if you don't have these dates already, election day is the 5th, and 1 week later, on that Tuesday, the 12th, is when at 10 a.m., we do the sample ballot audit.
Okay, tell me again the date. What was that?
The sample ballot audit meeting is the 12th, Tuesday, the 12th,
Okay.
okay,
Yes, I have
November.
that in here.
Okay, so later in that week, on Thursday, the 14th,
Yes.
10 a.m., the provisional supplemental
Right.
ballot review. And then that folds into our overall number. And then, of course, canvas is 11 a.m.
Yeah.
on Friday, the 15th. Okay, so we're gonna, I'll get Kelly, not today, but I'll get Kelly to reiterate this, when we have if we ever have a lighter number of votes to count. I don't know. We may be headed toward a heavier count next week. I don't think any of us has any way of knowing what we have coming, but it can get pretty tedious and pretty stretched out if there's a mistake made and we have to back all the way back to the beginning. So the idea being to just, have certain stopping points where we check the count, I suppose. And so I'll let her take it the rest of the way in her description, and maybe we can have some ideas, somebody will have some ideas on how we can improve that process so we don't have to back up so far.
Well, I would think it's a good idea because I do specifically remember a time when there was a count. They did the whole thing over again.
Yeah,
I think
They
they
did it
did it
3
the 3rd time.
times.
They did it 3 times.
yeah,
Before somebody finally caught what the problem was.
yeah.
It was an odd name.
I think it was, yeah.
And, I mean, they were just flipping so fast.
Yeah,
And it got to the point where they couldn't tell if they had called it or.
right.
I forget what it was, but. I
Well,
mean,
that
they
was one of the things.
They were consistently off by
Ye-
one.
Yeah, that's one of the things that she and I talked about is slowing it down just a little bit, so that there's more of an interval of time between the calls that are made. That would be one way to ensure that the talliers don't get confused about what they're hearing, because they're calling tally, and I think what has to
With
happen.
It's every 5 or 10.
That's
I
what it
think
is. It's every
10.
5.
It's
I think
every
it's-
5.
Yeah, it's every 5. And so what has to happen is the reading and the word, when they call out tally, they have to happen at a time interval so that they understand where they are. So in other words, maybe the caller needs to stop until she hears tally, when she's expecting it or something like that. And then when she hears that on that last time or whatever, then they move on. So maybe there's some kind of a timing about how they go through the fives, every five, where they are working together better and, maybe, I don't know. I mean,
I think we split it up into like tens.
it might have been,
So it's
it
not-
might have been, yeah.
We just had batches of 10.
Yeah. So if there's a way to stop it, like,
Is that how it works? Batches of 10?
anyway, I just want to let you know what's coming and you can think about that process if you're able to. I mean, you guys haven't seen it yet. So, but I think the answer lies somewhere in closing, slowing it down a little bit so that the caller calling out the name and the talliers kind of interlock together and there's more space, so that they don't get confused and add one or something like that because it's coming at them so fast. So,
It would seem too, I think what you're suggesting though is to stop at some intervals.
yeah, that's another,
And reconcile.
that's right.
Okay.
Reconcile
That
at
would make
intervals.
sense to me.
And we were talking about the intervals where, how much? Should it be every 100 or,
Where are they reading off of?
what they're doing is they're actually reading the ballots themselves.
Off of the tape or?
No,
what?
they're reading the ballots.
Oh, the sample ballots, gotcha.
Yeah, so what the process does is they actually literally read that race on the ballots. So they're looking in one place, on the presidential election, obviously, they'd be looking in one place.
Presidential, or is it a sample group or is it all of it?
It's,
Of the total ballots,
It's like, he'll take,
Done.
it'll
are we
be,
counting every single one on
Yes.
the presidential?
yes.
Okay.
The way I understand it.
And
Now, I've
whatever
never,
the other one is gonna be.
this will be the first time I've been involved with the presidential, and so Kelly would be the best person to ask on that. But I think there's some confusion that comes from
the student.
how the caller calls out and how they answer tally.
We will have
There may be,
all the ballots that were put in every machine in the county.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
For both-
remember the absentee ballots are in that separate,
Yeah,
they're in a separate tabulator,
right.
Oh.
right.
so, it may be that, that what we do is I don't think that we limit on the presidential. I think we'll go through everything.
All of it, yes.
Yeah, not just, in other words, not just the presidential in Nags Head or
Right,
not
right.
just in Kitty Hawk.
Whole
I
county.
think we probably are gonna have to do the whole thing. So we could be facing, I don't know, 30,000 ballots. I don't know how many. They're like, the registered voter number is over 34,000 now. And it just shot up. It was around 33,200, and it just shot up, so as this election approached. So, but Kelly will be able to explain it in detail so that we can lock in on some ideas on how to do this so that we don't have to back up because it's such an enormous load,
Yeah.
Do you have a name?
So,
Does that sound like you're fun to watch? I'll try to get it to you.
It's a lot.
I'm tired of cute though.
Yeah. You think about it, for somebody trying to learn the English language, it's gotta be over. Yeah.
The thing that I found hard learning English, which is my native tongue, to having to take Latin and French in school.
Did you?
Yeah, and because they have a structure.
Randy, what was the PC, the public count?
Total 580.
Balance.
And you know, they have to have the structures. So they have bunches. And you probably intuitively learn that because it's not laid out. You don't have a model, lots and lots and lots. But for many years, and then I discovered, well, the reason they call it French romance is because it's running first. I just, the wrong direction, and more examples.
And Randy, what was our start count?
Start count, 345 was the, public count when she opened.
345.
And the final count was 588.
Yeah.
Story, and I'm sticking to it.
Where the driver's license was over a year old, and the voter wasn't 65, so he's amended. Today, we're only at 243, 3.
Father's father.
But I did ultimately.
Let me see your book.
43 today, and 3, I guess,
Thanks.
I'm gonna be sitting here. Right. But three pushing up, because I was like, make sure the work from the prior weekend.
And that's the thing.
But he had in seminary and then his father, his professional life, that he had to read and wanted to read original texts or his original.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not smart enough to make this. Mom, dad sent me away.
Now, if you work in one place, speak.
Well, she's here right now.
Oh, she is?
She'll work in tax. Oh. What you mean on the election?
If you can read that.
He created, you know, from
Yeah, it's gonna go
early dictionary,
over and over.
first dictionary.
Good luck.
I tried 4 times.
And then over here, there was a lot.
Yeah, there was a lot.
You know, that where, you know, by the time I got
Yeah.
here, too late, too close to our meeting, I couldn't do it, so I may go by there on the way home. And we can kill that little.
They said today was the slowest.
Was
Right
after
over there, 'cause I was talking to you. It was the slowest thing, but there was still, like, the line didn't feel outstanding. It was like, wow.
Yeah,
It's a war.
I waited an hour when I went there last week. It's just.
Yes, every day.
Yeah.
That's right, every day.
Yeah.
A friend of mine in Orange County, which is Chapel Hill, he has a farm out there, 400-acre farm. He showed me on his phone, they have a voting, early voting tracker.
Oh, wow.
And he can scroll to any precinct where they have them, and he can see how crowded it was. That was the intent, to
Yeah.
even out the load on
Yeah.
precincts. And so he could spot where, you know, there was a slow, you know, and he can jump on it and get there and vote there. He was telling us, you guys ought to do it. I don't know, you know, if like that, we don't have the density population
Yeah.
they've got, you know.
Yeah, all those people who were voting in Kildello Hills just want to drive down to Buxton so they can. approve that.
Right, yeah, right, that's what I was telling him, I was saying geographically, it's a
Yeah,
lot
it ain't
better.
gonna happen here.
Yeah. But, he used to live here, he knows what it's like, or at least he knew what it was like in the late 70s. But, and he has stayed in touch, comes down all the time, but still, I thought it was a pretty innovative idea for an area that's, you know, really densely populated. they're trying to control.
You don't want to discourage.
Yeah, it kind of does the same thing that GPS, does.
Yeah.
Where it'll route you, it'll make subtle differences in how it routes you based on traffic in that moment. But I think all of them are doing that now, which is fantastic.
I got really irritated because I had to wait 5 minutes.
You come here or?
Yeah. Came here because Kildare Hills was. It was like an hour line. God, it was
Nowhere
unreal.
park either.
It was the second day.
Uh-huh.
Early voting. And it was like, oh no. Just kept
Yeah,
on
that's what I did
driving
today.
through the parking lot and went, came down here because my wife had said that Manio was,
Me too.
relatively light.
Good.
Did you, were you able to vote over here?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, I did today.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you can vote anywhere.
Yeah, I know that, but I mean, I just didn't
I
know.
didn't feel like
if you was-
driving down the box.
It's scenic,
Oh, I know.
as long as the road wasn't overwashed.
Exactly. Your pontoons on.
To go to the first day.
Did you?
Yeah.
I was like the first day, since I've been involved with the first day of road was walk in, say hi.
Now, last year.
It's a sense that things are going awry.
Second day or something. Up to the hospital. I'm sorry, Phil. I don't want to get it out there right now, I'm sorry.
Some kid does raise the question, like whether fourth early voting site, at least major elections like
Yeah.
presidential. Is there enough population north or southern shore,
Yeah.
like, up,
Have one up there.
or Kitty Hawk, it's got space, it's got house, as long as it's not raining. And his wife mows the field.
Right, right.
Another count, and all of you need to sign the back page.
On both of them.
I think up in southern shores is nice. Doesn't bother. But it's the northernmost point, if you go up the dock, you've got that hour, like 25 miles per hour.
Find out how to determine your art of voting. No, when, it's just that when you start to get long lines in
Last
one
page.
spot, and everything else is much lighter. Okay, maybe we could kill Little Hills, but also offer, like on the north side of Southern Shore or something like that. You gotta have to plan how much money you use.
Mr. Chairman, that's all I have if you want to adjourn the meeting.
Okay. I have one thing that I was explaining to the board, Kelly, about our desire to figure out a way when we're doing the sample audit, where we're doing the hand counts and not getting too far ahead to where we have a situation where we have to back up thousands of votes to reconcile. And I was explaining to them as best I could that process, and that we were going to try to think of a way, come up with a system where we wouldn't have to back up as far.
Okay.
Is there anything that you'd like to say about that process, about mistakes, that have happened in the past? We were talking about where we had to back up 3 times. That one time where we had,
No, I think just if we all just sort of get thinking about it and then we can discuss it later.
yeah,
That's like whole.
Not right now.
okay.
Got 5 on that. We got-
Yeah.
All right, does anybody else have anything else? Any comments?
It's been
or
fun.
anything? It's been long.
You guys can-
I'd like to thank everyone who came and for your interest. Our next absentee ballot review is next Tuesday, which will be October 29th, I believe. Is that correct?
It's 22nd, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll be right here and at 3 o'clock. And we hope to see you. Thanks for your interest in coming out. This meeting is adjourned.